Okay, so welcome to another session, day 3. I wasn't able to do day 2. I was very exhausted. So definitely day 3 out of 21 days. We're in the month of May. And I just want to be able to remind you guys that we're doing 30 reps this month, okay? Last month we was able to do 20 reps. On today's discussion, or the voice speaking in the background, is so immortal. The topic is how women view submission, what brothers need to know, and the ugly truth. Okay. The last discussion was about the whole nice guys and everything else. I thought it was pretty good to bring that type of topic up, see if there's different perspectives, different point of views on that. On this one here is just trying to understand, it may not be all women, but just characteristics to get a woman to be able to submit. So he definitely shared some examples on that from his perspectives. You can check out the video on it. This is just the audio while I'm working out. Today's workout is going to be 30 reps everything, where what I did on day 1, the same thing. Single leg lunges, 30 reps, switching, 30 reps. We're doing the 30 squats, the 1 minute deep squat, Asian squat. There's so much names to it. And if I pronounce it correctly, Ido Portal squat. Pushing forward for a 2 minute plank. I was very imperfect. I didn't make it all the way through on the first day 1. I think I stopped at a minute and a half on the 2 minute plank. See if I could do a little bit more. Side plank is a minute and a half on both sides. And we want to finish off with the brick curl, 30 reps. The rip right. I did not complete day 1 properly with the rip right. I finished, I think, at 9. My arms was burnt. And the brick raises, 30 reps. Okay. If I'm not completing the whole 30 reps straight, I'm definitely going to take a break to do it in sets. It might be 2 sets, it might be 3 sets. All right. If you're following along, you can do the same. You can go straight, or you can take breaks. You don't have to do the whole 30. If you want to start off at 10 is a good number to start off on these type of exercises. Okay. Excuse the little bugs that's flying around. You know, living in South Florida, where there's all different types of living creatures. So this is part of life, right? Want to talk about the jog today. 11 minutes and roughly 40 seconds. I stopped the timer at 11 minutes and 40 seconds. So that is, it's not really a back-to-back because I took a break on day 2. I didn't work out on day 2, but just to be able to come out on day 3, I pushed a little bit hard in the beginning of the run, and just to bring down the time. And I took 2 breaks. I walked twice towards the end. It was definitely a short period of a walk, and I just jumped back on running or jogging again. And just to bring it home, I should say, at 11 minutes and 40 seconds. That means somewhere in May, I don't know what date it's going to be, but I will bring it home at 11 minutes. I will bring it down to 11 minutes, which will be pretty cool. Like I said, the estimated length is about a good 1.4 to 1.5 mile. Okay. If you're doing a shorter distance, like a mile, and your time is about 10 minutes, you know, just work around that. If your time is 12 minutes, work around that. If your time is 15 minutes, work around that. 20 minutes, work around that. Become your own competition. I'm keeping record of my time, but I'm not boasting, showing off like I am the fastest in the 1.5 mile time runner. Okay, I just love to exercise and be in competition with myself to get better. All right, so with that being said, we're about to get started. Hopefully the content I'm providing with you guys is good content, something to think about, think outside the box, and we're gonna take it from there.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. If you've seen a number of my videos, you've heard me talk about my father at least once, right? Now, my father passed away when I was at a very young age. Now, there are several disadvantages to this, right? There are several things that I didn't learn until my late 20s, late 30s, and even my 40s that I should have learned a long time ago, right? But like I always talk about, in every situation that we call bad, there's always some good that we can extract out of that, right? And a few years ago, I realized the good that I experienced. See, I had the opportunity to be in a household with a single mother, a sister, without a leading, male figure in the house, which gave me the advantage to see women in their natural environment. I had a chance to see them date, interact with men, and I didn't realize that the whole time I was storing this information to be understood at a later time, right? So today, I want to talk about how women view submission, what men need to know, and the ugly truth. Let's talk about it. Now, when we're talking about a woman submitting to a man, or when we're talking about submission, period, I found that, that using that word, despite it being very accurate, I found that using that word tends to kill communication between men and women. Just because in this time, in this era, so much negative connotation or such a stigma has been placed on that word. So usually when I'm having this conversation, I tend to use the word cater. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems to open up the lines of communication better, right? And if you've ever seen that video by Destiny's Child where she's talking about catering to a man, that's complete submission. That's talking about a woman submitting to her man, right? There's a reason why I tell young brothers in their 20s, it's cool to date, man, but hold off on that long-term serious relationship. Focus on the bag, focus on your career, right? There's a reason why I tell even brothers in their 30s that, hey, if you're ready to get in that relationship or whatever, make sure you have life in order. Make sure your ducks are in a row before you go down that road, right? And the reason is this. I don't care how much swag you have. I don't care, how alpha a man is. A woman will not submit to a man unless he is a provider. And what I mean by this is that when a woman comes into your life, right, this woman should be coming into your kingdom. You know what I'm saying? In other words, your life has to be in autopilot already. Your life has to be in surplus, meaning the house, the cars, the bills being paid. All that needs to be established already, right? Because if it's not, what you're really asking of that woman is to come in and be your partner. You know what I'm saying? You're asking for a partnership. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, brothers, even though partnerships are common, that's commonly what we see in today's time, in a partnership, a woman cannot and will not be submissive. Because what you're saying is you're telling a woman that I'm looking for a woman to come in and complete me, as opposed to, I'm a man that's established and I'm looking for a woman to come in and compliment me. Now, I know a lot of you brothers are going to call BS on this, right? Because I understand how you're seeing it. You're saying, I'm strong, I got a six pack, or I put it down in the bedroom, which is definitely a prerequisite, right? You're saying all these things about your manhood, right? But you have to understand the difference between a woman respecting you, a woman lusting you, and a woman submitting to you, right? There's a huge difference. Because this is the way women see it, right? This is how women look at it, guys. I remember when I was in the military, right? And in the military, there's a rank structure. You have your privates, you have your specialists, and then you have your sergeants, right? I remember when I was a specialist, and there was a guy that I was stationed with. He was a specialist also. And every once in a while, this brother would just walk in the room and just start giving everybody orders. Like, hey, you know, you need to do this, you need to do this. And in my mind, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Or I just give him this look. Because I'm like, you do the same thing that I do. Like, who are you to come in and want some kind of special treatment? You're the same thing as me. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when I knew that some of the officers were coming or some of the non-commissioned officers were coming, you know, I would make sure things were in order. I would make sure everything was displayed right. I would make sure all the other soldiers beneath me were on point. And why is this? I did this because I knew these people, you know, non-commissioned officers, were in a position to elevate me. That they were in a position to promote me. That they were in a position to ensure that I could still provide. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much catered to them in that situation. And this is how women are seeing it. You know, I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it, because there are several things about this society that are just what they are, right? But when a man is saying, you know what, I want this woman to come in and pay half the bills. Guys, I'm not saying nothing is right or wrong with that. All I'm telling you is that to get a woman in her most feminine state, which is to submit or to cater to a man, she physically, she spiritually, she mentally can't do that if she's doing the same things of a man. Now let's pause for a sec and let's talk about the partnership relationship, because that's what most relationships look like in today's society. And I don't want anybody thinking I'm talking down on a partnership relationship, right? Because when you think about it, it's a beautiful thing. You know, two people come together, become one, and they start to build a life together, right? So they're building homes, they're buying cars, they're buying land, they're going on vacations. They have this beautiful life together. Now, there are only two things wrong with this scenario. One, you have to understand how sexual market value works, right? You have to understand that a huge part of a woman's attraction to you is based on how other women view you and how other women, you know, desire you, right? So when you're in a position where half of all you have, half of your growth, half of your success is based on a woman being there, she subconsciously knows that if she's no longer in the picture, your world comes crumbling down, right? And that's low-key an unattractive trait. And two, you have to understand her hypergamy. Now, hypergamy is across the board. There's not a woman on the planet that's exempt from hypergamy. But the thing is this, guys, you know, we always say that, you know, when women are being hypergamous, they're monkey branching from guy to guy, you know, to get the biggest bag, to get the best lifestyle. In 95% of cases, this is true. But for a small percentage of women, you know, when women, you know, use that hypergamous instinct inside them, really what they're looking for is the desire to be feminine. So what do I mean? Contrary to popular belief, you know, all these women we have out in corporate America, all these women we have out, you know, getting 2 and 3 degrees, a lot of these women aren't happy. See, the thing is, a lot of these women chose to go that route strictly out of survival. Now, what I'm not saying is that women can't do it, because I know some women in corporate America that are doing, you know, certain jobs that are going 100% and doing very well. But what I'm saying is that women aren't naturally built for that environment. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can take a Ford Escort and I can drive a horse trailer from California all the way to Florida. But really is not built for that. And that's all I'm saying. What several women desire is just to be a woman. What several women desire is just to be in a position to be a helpmate for a man. What several women desire is just to be able to cater to a man. But again, guys, if a woman is in a position where she has to play the role of the man, she can't do that. Now, I can easily say that it wasn't until I was in my 40s before I had experienced, what it was like to have a woman cater to me, you know what I'm saying? And to just keep it 100, I didn't even know how to accept that, you know what I'm saying? Because I lived, so long of just being me doing everything just being like, exactly how I like it. That when a woman came in and wanted to just spoil me in certain areas, I was just like, nah, I'm good. But once that woman just started doing stuff, I would just wake up, to breakfast, or if I'm sitting here doing some work and she's constantly bringing me, juices, coffees, teas. If I'm getting home from a long day of being out grinding, she's giving me back rubs and foot massages. And I'm not talking about every once in a while. I'm talking about this is daily life. You know what I'm saying? And when a man is in that position, he has no choice but to reciprocate, to try to give a woman the good things in life. Because what that woman has done, it's freed up so much stuff in his life. It's freed up so many stresses. So now he's in a position where he has more time to grind, more time to grow and expand as a man, Now, I've said this once or twice, but I'll say it 1,000 more times if I need to. Guys, what a lot of women don't understand is that their power is in their submission. Because a lot of women talk about, oh, my man don't do this, all men cheat, all men do this. What women don't understand is that when they're in a position, to cater to their man, a man is fulfilled. A man doesn't have any need to step out and do all this extra stuff. A man can focus on, building and expanding more to be a better man. Now, here's the ugly truth, guys. We talk about this certain type of woman that can come into a man's life, submit to him, cater to him, and make him a better man, right? We talk about that. But in all actuality, if a man walks into a room and there's 10 columns by 10 rows of women, in other words, there are 100 women in a room from all races, religions, backgrounds. Out of these 100 women, only 5 of these women will be able to fit this bill. You know what I'm saying? Because just the way that society is now, man, the women of today, their mindsets are so far different than the mindsets of our grandmothers, than the mindsets of our great-grandmothers. Looking back, hindsight is 20/20, right? Looking back at my grandmother's relationship, looking back at relationships where women were put in a position to be feminine and men were, the masculine role of the relationship. Looking back, I see why there was so much harmony in those relationships. I see why those relationships work like a well-oiled machine. And the ugly truth is this. When I play the devil's advocate, and I separate myself from the situation, right? I see, it seems like so many people have drunk the Kool-Aid, right? Because, when I look at women, even if a man was to put the majority of women in this situation in order for them to be, this feminine, submissive, catering woman, the ugly truth is that they wouldn't even know how to do that, because that has been so far removed from the women of today, right? At the same time, when I look at some of us brothers, we've drunk the Kool-Aid too, right? Because this world has tricked us into having this lustful mindset, into just chasing women, into just looking at ass on IG and everything 24 hours a day, that we've lost focus on who we are and what we're capable of. Instead of putting ourselves in position to have our own kingdom, we choose to live on a lesser self. You know what I'm saying? and then we're not in a position, to do those things. At the end of the day, the way I see it is like this, guys. And I don't expect for every man to agree with me. But just me personally, just me being a man on this planet, I take ownership in everything around me, everything in my household, everything in my kingdom, my world. I take responsibility for all of it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, when I look at the future generations behind me, when I look at my son in relationships down the road, when I look at my son's son in relationships down the road, if I want to make it better, in other words, if I want to rewrite the narrative on what that's going to look like, I have to fix it now. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, the first step on fixing that is to completely eliminate the 95% type woman out of my universe. You know what I'm saying? Because what we call acceptable, as far as how we interact with women, as far as how we hold down our kingdom, is what the younger generation is looking at. And it's both sides. Young women are looking at older women, seeing how they respond in relationships. Young men are looking at us and seeing how we respond and hold things down, right? So it's all about just taking the first steps to change this whole thing, But that's a whole other conversation, right? It's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.
All right, so definitely a great workout today. The focus, the determination was there. Honestly, I have mentioned it prior to the other 21 days. Some days I don't feel like working out. It's a tough feeling, and I know with my muscle memory and what I want, I don't want to be lazy, so I definitely want to push through, and this is what pushing through looks like. Coming out here, exercising, running stronger, things like that. I did 20 push-ups at the end of this video, just to fit in, sorry with all the ums. The 20 push-ups is really a challenge that I started on day one. I did as a short clip, so it's not part of the whole workout session, but the 20 push-ups is, a challenge, 20 push-up challenge to end domestic violence in relationships, okay? There's countless, this year has been a lot of brothers, men, boys, however you want to call it, killing or ending, sorry, with the trigger word killing, ending women's life out here for whatever the frustration may be. And where a man is ending this woman's life, she's gone, and either he end his life or he is spending time in jail for that. So we're losing two people, and they're at some young ages. The ones I was able to see with my own eyes, well, the news I should say, or hear about it, have been in the ranges of young as 17 all the way up to mid 30s. like 35, 36. So between that range, it seems like there's relationships out there that's just not going so well. It's probably being ignored. It's not really communicated through. So that's what the push-ups is there. So guys, as I mentioned on the first video, this is the season. This is the time to be accountable, to be responsible, to own up. The blueprint is here with the content I'm pushing. There's other contents out there with the blueprint of men being accountable, doing what's necessary, what is your purpose, pushing forward on what's best for you. And then when you bring that woman along, you already know the tolerance level, what you could be able to accept, what you cannot accept. And you know, it's no hard feelings if she won't be able to keep up with your requests, or if you're a person that know how to compromise and, you know, read between the lines, okay, maybe I could be able to work things out with this person, you can. So what I'm saying out my mouth tonight is not relying on women. You know, we're waiting for women to do certain things, or waiting for them to calm down. And men, let's be accountable. You know, let's voice our opinion, because we done put all the facts and different opinions and perspectives together, you know. And so I'm gonna end with that. Hopefully today's video was very helpful, and excuse with the bugs today. I don't know if it has something to do with the rain, recent rain or whatever, but it's out of my control. I still want to push forward. This is not an excuse for me not to work out. I'm not used to it, but gotta work with what I have right now, which is okay. All right, today's workout, I forgot to talk about today's workout. Today's workout was on point. Definitely some imperfections. The plank was way better. The front plank, I was able to hit the 2 minutes. The side plank, I stopped at 50 seconds. The goal is 1 minute and 30 seconds on side planks. The deep squat is a burn. Definitely feeling it in my quads and my lower abdomen. I definitely feel that workout. Upper body was on point today. The rip right whooped my behind. I stopped at 7. I'm still pushing forward to get the rip right from 10 seconds, 10 reps, all the way down to 1 second, 1 rep. That is the goal. So with that being said, you guys take care. If you've been watching all the way to the end, thank you. All right, this is definitely a documentary, and taking it from there. I'm rambling right now, but you guys take care. All right, look out for day 4. Day 2 was a break. Day 1 was the workout. Day 2 was a break. Day 3 we're here. Day 4, let's keep it going. 21-day fasting.